We've all been there. The days when the to-do list never seems to end, when the energy feels zapped, and the motivation is nowhere to be found. It's far too easy to label yourself as lazy and underachieving, but the reality is it may be more than that. You may be burnt out. I remember a year or so ago, I was working nonstop for weeks, trying to get ahead of all the tasks and all the goals I had set for myself. Listening to all the productivity influencers out there telling me how I'm not doing enough and how I need to 10x my output by following their instructions, and
I'm sorry, all I heard was blah blah blah, I'm a dirty tramp.
I was pushing myself harder than ever before, and I still felt like I wasn't doing enough. I was exhausted and I was irritable, and no matter how hard I worked, I always felt like I was failing. And so I just simply thought that I was lazy and I wasn't doing enough. Clearly, if I wasn't lazy, I'd be achieving these results, right? This was starting to take a serious toll on me and my mental health. It wasn't until I met with one of my mentors and I was telling him everything I was doing, and he stopped me and he said, "Dude, you're doing a lot more than you think. Like, you're not lazy at all. You're probably just burning yourself out." At the time, I had no idea what it even meant, because I thought that, how could I be burning myself out if I'm not achieving all this stuff? And so I started to really look into burnout and what that really even means. Burnout can lead to decreased productivity, physical and mental health problems, and difficulty maintaining relationships. And this started to all make sense to me, but how do you know for sure if you are burnt out or if you're just lazy? These are the 5 clear signs that I've realized have led to burnout and what you can actually do about them if you are feeling the same way. I remember waking up every morning and feeling like my entire body was made out of lead. I didn't want to get out of bed. I felt like I had no energy to do anything. I was always exhausted, and even the thought of completing a simple task felt overwhelming. I thought I was being lazy, but then I realized that that was a sign of being burnt out. I was working long hours at my job, trying to balance a social life, doing a bunch of side hustles, just doing a lot of things at once. My body was running on empty, and looking back, it was clearly telling me to slow down, but I wasn't listening. I realized that burnout doesn't mean you're lazy, it's quite the opposite actually. So it's really important to give yourself breaks throughout the day and take time to rest and recover. It's also really important to monitor your sleep patterns. Lack of good quality sleep consistently will just make your body just shut down and not perform ideally. So if you're feeling constantly exhausted and your body's giving you those warning signs that you need to stop, just cool it, okay? Burnout could really manifest itself into more physical symptoms if you don't address it. And this could lead you feeling more anxious and depressed and irritable and all these bad things that you don't want, that I've experienced, that I just know now I could avoid by just taking a step back and not going full 100 miles an hour all the time. One of the clear signs of burnout is when all of your motivation to do the things that you love and enjoy just simply vanishes. According to a survey conducted by the American Psychological Association, nearly 2/3 of Americans report feeling overwhelmed and drained from their daily tasks. Typically, I'd wake up with a list of all the things I wanted to do and have the motivation to check them all off. I had the same enthusiasm for my jobs and the same interest in all my hobbies as I used to, and everything was fine. But then out of the blue, everything changed. I stopped wanting to do the things that I typically enjoyed doing, and I found it a real struggle to complete those easy tasks that I normally would have no problem doing. I felt like I had no energy left, and all I wanted to do was just curl up and sleep and just not wake up. So if you feel like your motivation is just completely zapped and you don't have an interest to do things that you normally enjoy doing, this is how you can get back on track. Recognize that burnout is a normal part of life and we all go through it one time or another. Be okay with taking time to reset and relax, and you don't have to listen to all the productivity gurus out there telling you how you're not doing enough and how you can't take breaks, because I think that's complete BS. I think the biggest way to remedy this is just to focus on your self-care and not focus on getting as much done in as short amount of time as possible, but rather focus your time and attention on making sure you're getting a proper sleep and getting proper diet and exercise and doing as much as you can without feeling too overwhelmed. Exercise is my favorite thing because it boosts my energy levels and helps clear my mind. It's essentially my meditation, because I'm very ADHD and I don't like standing still and doing meditation. So I find ways to get that elsewhere. And for me, my brain just seems to shut off and be clear when I'm working out, and that boosts my energy levels, my endorphins, and that has just helped me just not get burnt out as rapidly. Another clear indicator of burnout for me was when I found myself just unable to focus on anything. Like I was just dragging myself throughout the day and I couldn't focus on any of my tasks. No matter how much effort I put in, it was never enough. When you're overwhelmed, it's really difficult to get started on tasks and to actually concentrate on the objectives at hand. A recent study by the American Institute of Stress found that nearly 40% of respondents reported difficulty concentrating as a major symptom of burnout. At first, I didn't really think much of this because my ADHD makes it hard for me to concentrate in general, but it was really getting exacerbated. What really helped me was breaking down tasks into more manageable chunks and then prioritizing those. This allowed me to start to focus a little bit more on each thing one at a time instead of just looking at a ton of stuff all at once and just not even be able to focus because it just seemed like it was so overwhelming. What I like to do is every day I'll just write on a piece of paper just a list of to-dos from most important to least important, and I will just box a few at a time and then tackle those pretty much one at a time until they're all done. When I'm in my flow state, I feel like I have an endless stream of creativity and energy, and I'm able to take on anything that really just comes my way. But when I'm burnt out, I notice that I just have a very hard time making decisions. Also, some of the most simplest problems seem like the most difficult tasks. This is because burnout can lead to a decrease in your cognitive capacity. This could decrease your ability to think clearly and logically. I need to the point in the day where I'm second guessing every decision I make, and I just can't solve problems that I should have no issue solving. I know that it's time to just stop doing whatever I'm doing for the day and either take a serious break or just recover completely. When I'm burnt out, I feel like I am just super irritable and just have a very poor outlook on life. This was a hard road to realization for me because I had been pushing myself for so long to just keep up with everyone else and keep up with my goals and doing so much at once, and I was just getting overwhelmed and irritable. I'm not irritable because I don't want to complete the tasks. I'm irritable because I'm too overworked and I don't want to do anymore. My body at least is telling me that I shouldn't be doing anymore. It creates a disbalance in life and a lack of time management as well. So if you're feeling constantly irritable, it could be a sign that you are burnt out. You should find time to take a day off when needed and enjoy your weekends if you have the ability to. Like, really take that weekend to reset and recharge. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by life. Recognize these signs in your life if they come up so you know how to resolve them. It can be difficult to know the difference between being lazy and being burnt out. But these signs have been an indicator, at least for me, that I was burnt out and not lazy. If you're generally a go-getter and a hard worker and you enjoy typically doing some things, but then you find yourself out of the blue, like not enjoying it so much, that's not laziness, that's being burnt out. And it's important to recognize when that is the case. Burnout does not happen overnight. It happens gradually over time. So it's important to catch it early and to find ways to avoid it in the future. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you have not already, and share it with someone if you feel like they could benefit from it. It helps a lot with the algorithm. And yeah, if you like this video, I'm sure you'll like this other one coming up right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.